Oh, I wanted to just talk a little bit about, I mean, it's gossip in my circle, okay? And even though I want to say hi to Monk, I talk to Monk not that frequently, but he and I do talk on the phone. Haven't talked to Jeff for a while, but there's some weird stuff going on there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to make of a lot of this stuff. But yeah. So I gossip about stuff in my own little end of the pond on YouTube, and I guess some of it would be NOE business. And there's an interesting term that's come up. It's called the NOE Prime, which would be referring to the original members of the NOE, which I, off the top of my head, please excuse me if I'm forgetting anybody, but would be Gordon, IR138, and Trisha Kitty, and of course Jeff Davis, and Monk, and Bonnie, Misanthropic 66, and of course, when you say Monk, we're including, and of course, Stan, and the creators of the original Angry Dummy, and some really, really great puppet videos with really good writing and really excellent voice characterizations. I mean, that's really one of their strong points for that, and I think Monk could take the credit for that. And then the editing, I think is more Stan's side of it. Excuse me if I got that wrong. So there's the NOE Prime and Pops and Delisa Productions, even though there were sort of like some, Pops had some reservations right after he joined the NOE. Basically, he didn't trust anybody. He really thought that I pulled the rug out from under him, and I'm innocent, okay? I'm still proclaiming my innocence. But then that escalated in something. But I have to say, to be truthful, that Pops and Lisa were some early joiners in the NOE. And I guess I would have to include myself. It started when I entered a contest that the Leon Show had, and it was like Solve the Crime. And that's where I first used my Dr. Bender character. Oh, no, Dr. Bender's a separate person. Okay, that's when Dr. Bender first appeared, and to solve the crime. And basically, Monk won the contest, but Jeff sent me a set of chicken bones anyway. And then, lo and behold, I was drafted. I was drafted in the NOE. I didn't really ask to be in it. It was like, oh, you're in. I was like, oh, okay. And it was a lot of fun in the early days. And you know what? I talk about how the early days was better, but you know what? Old people are always nostalgic that way. And the new members of the NOE will come up with something new. And I guess this is the next generation. But what's kind of crappy about people wearing bones and calling themselves NOE and are dissing Monk, just because they don't make the connection between those great videos that he does and just these knockout ones where he's just having fun showing parts of Chicago with the trains and the fire trucks, etc. So I think that's silly, but what we had was just this thing that happened by accident without really trying. We had a group of very creative people, and I'd leave myself out of that. I mean, I wasn't really a mover or shaker exactly. I just do vlogs. I started out just doing political stuff. I didn't really belong in the skit and story, kind of video stuff. I mean, I can do it if I put my mind to it, but I really don't care to, as far as the time and effort put into it. And and I came to YouTube just to vlog, and I'd have to say that's my strong suit. But we had Pops and Lisa, and Jeff and Stan and Monk, and Gordon and Trisha, all people that are able to create a scenario, create a character, sort of and put something together. Oh, and don't let me forget Killer Queen Carol. who was a major antagonist, an enemy of the group of the NOE, who later like just endeared herself to us and just became a major player. So that's how it would be. Everybody that would become a member and get a set of bones had to undergo some sort of test or hazing or something first. Probably not Monk and Stan and Jeff, because they're more or less the founders. Technically, Jeff is the original founder, but I understand that there was some back and forth about let's start a group. So that's it. Enough of that. But I just think it's kind of interesting, and we'll see with the new people that call themselves NOE. See what happens. Network of Evil, which I've always had a problem with, because I'm not evil. I'm a terrible, terrible person, but I don't choose to be evil. You know, it just sort of happens sometimes. And I kind of have a couple things that I need to get out of the way here, which I said I was going to do, okay? I want to talk about a YouTube person called George for Title. And not that I've known about this guy very long. Actually, I first heard about him on 001, Just for Fun. I first heard about this person, and she was kind of doing an overview about this guy when, you know, he was living in a tent, but apparently he was living in a tent in somebody's garage or something, I don't know. And how he's gone through some changes. And a little bit that I know of him, I can't but help draw the comparison between him and Spike Bravo, except this guy's a little bit more successful at it. I mean, he's supposed to be some sort of lifestyle, economic guru, you know, giving out advice. And then Truth Cracker did a video on him, and he was asking members of the NOE, you know, I think he even mentioned my name, citizenkong, and you know, to get the word out about this guy. The word is not good. The word about this man is not good. And also, I want to mention Mr. Wobblehead covered this guy. And so the name of the channel is George, spelled like George Bush, for the number 4, Title, T-I-T-L-E. And the first thing, and I'd watched somebody other videos. It's funny, he did a response video to all this, but then there was naysayers, there were critics, and he did a response video, but I went to go pull the video up again, and he's taken it down. So I don't know what that means. What should we read into that? But George for Title apparently has ties on the East Coast with some financial group that sends out a newsletter. Now, economy's not my strong thing, and I know myself, and probably a lot of the people that I know, well, let's just say myself, I don't have money to invest in anything, even if I wanted to. But with Truth Cracker, who's actually knows much more about economy than I do, I think he studied it, talks about something, I've heard of this before. In fact, I was watching an episode of White Collar, and they talked about the same thing, and it's called a pump and dump.